Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're jumping into something wild. 10 countries. Literally warning their people. Maybe give the US a pass right now? Yeah, it's that serious. We're talking travel alerts, visa drama, and big international shade. Why are these countries tapping the brakes on America-bound trips? Stay tuned, we're breaking it all down country by country. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Let's roll. First up, the United Kingdom. In March 2025, the UK's Foreign Office updated its travel advice for the US. They're warning citizens about tough new entry rules. British travelers are being told to triple-check their visa or ESTA, because even if the paperwork looks good, you might still be denied entry. Why? There's been a spike in reports of Brits being held at the border, some for overstaying by days, others for unclear travel plans. It's part of Trump's new immigration push. The UK didn't call it a ban, but the message is loud and clear. Get your documents perfect, or you could end up detained. Around 4 million Brits visit the US each year. That number might drop. Some have already canceled plans, fearing harsh treatment. This chill might also tie into Trump's harsh EU trade remarks. So for now, the UK is saying, go if you want, but be prepared. Or you could find yourself flying right back home. Next on the list, Germany. Germany's Federal Foreign Office just issued its own updated U.S. travel warning this month. They're making it clear, having a visa or ESTA doesn't guarantee entry. U.S. border agents can turn you away with zero explanation, and there's no way to appeal. This warning came after several German travelers were detained. In early 2025, some over minor passed overstays, others for having unclear reasons for visiting. It's not being labeled a ban, but Germany's message is serious. Expect extra scrutiny. Roughly 2 million Germans head to the U.S. each year, and that number may now dip. The advisory also reflects deeper tensions. Trump's strict policies, especially his stance on gender, clash with Germany's progressive values. That's a big concern for trans travelers in particular. Add ongoing trade disputes into the mix, and you've got a growing storm. German citizens are being warned. Prepare for grilling questions at the border and the chance of being turned away. Yes, travel's still allowed, but it's no longer the smooth, relaxed journey it used to be. Number 3, Canada. Our northern neighbors recently revised their U.S. travel warning, advising citizens to register with American authorities if they'll be staying over 30 days. This comes after a woman from Vancouver was detained for a week over a visa issue. Canadian MP Charlie Angus even went viral, saying, "Avoid the U.S. if you can. It's tyranny under Trump." The guidance itself is clear. Follow all entry rules or risk deportation. But the public tone is getting sharper. Canada's uneasy over Trump's bizarre comments about turning them into the 51st state. Plus, tougher border enforcement is impacting dual citizens in particular. With millions crossing annually, this could seriously cool off travel. Some Canadians are even boycotting trips to the U.S. altogether, citing politics. It's not an official warning yet, but the message is loud. The U.S. isn't as friendly as before, and Ottawa wants Canadians to brace for a tougher experience crossing the border. Number 4 is Denmark. This Scandinavian nation updated its U.S. travel advisory with a sharp focus, specifically flagging concerns for transgender travelers. Why? Trump's administration enforces a strict male or female-only gender policy, which means passports, marked with an X for non-binary, could get travelers denied entry. Denmark's guidance? If you're trans or non-binary, contact the U.S. Embassy before your trip. They're also backing the wider message, valid visas or ESTAs. Don't guarantee entry anymore. The crackdown at the border is real. Denmark's progressive values are clashing with the U.S.'s shifting stance, and it shows. This isn't a don't go alert, but it's definitely a warning light, especially for vulnerable groups. Around 300,000 Danes visit the U.S. each year, but that number could fall, especially with stories of detentions making the rounds. Throw in Trump's anti-EU remarks, and Denmark's cautious tone makes a lot more sense. Travel is still an option, but for some it's a risk they're not willing to take. Coming in at number 5, Finland. Like Denmark, Finland revised its U.S. travel advisory in March 2025, and again the focus is on transgender and non-binary travelers. With Trump's gender policy only recognizing male and female identities, Finnish passports marked with an X could trigger denial at the border. Finland's advice: check with the U.S. Embassy before locking in your flights. They're also warning about ramped-up border enforcement. Just having a visa or ESTA isn't enough anymore. This follows several incidents where Finns were unexpectedly detained on arrival. About 200,000 Finnish citizens visit the U.S. annually. That might change. It's not a do-not-travel advisory, but it's a solid alert. The U.S. feels less predictable, and that's making people think twice. Tensions between Trump's administration and the EU, alongside Finland's commitment to inclusivity, add more friction. For Finnish travelers, it's now about weighing if the trip is worth the stress. At number 6 is France. There's no official U.S. travel warning from Paris, yet. But French authorities have quietly updated their guidance, telling citizens to stay sharp and closely follow all entry rules. France is watching this trend, growing numbers of detentions at U.S. borders. European detentions at U.S. borders are on the rise, and France isn't taking any chances. Their advisory now warns that even with a valid visa, if anything seems off, you could be denied entry. With over 1 million French tourists heading to the U.S. annually, this shift is significant. Many link it to Trump's repeated digs at the EU. France isn't exactly loving the whole forget Europe attitude. There's also growing concern for LGBTQ+ travelers, especially with recent U.S. policy changes. This isn't a formal don't go message, but the tone is shifting fast. Popular French travel blogs report anxiety about being treated coldly or unfairly. So for now, the advice is, travel if you want, but be extra prepared. The U.S. just isn't the open-armed destination it used to be. Coming in at number 7, New Zealand. The Kiwi government has updated its U.S. travel advice, cautioning that even with an ESTA, entry is far from guaranteed. They're flagging increased border crackdowns, with travelers getting detained over minor issues like brief overstays. This follows multiple high-profile cases of New Zealanders being turned away at U.S. airports. With around 300,000 Kiwis visiting America each year, it's a serious concern. Officials aren't saying stay away, but the warning is blunt. U.S. border agents have the final word, and no one's exempt. Some tie this shift to rising tensions over Trump's tough trade talk, which hasn't spared even traditional allies like New Zealand. On social media, Kiwis are asking, is the risk worth the reward? It's not a safety issue. It's about unpredictability and power at the border. New Zealand's message? America's still worth the trip. But don't wing it. Have flawless documents and a backup plan, or you might end up seeing New York through an airport holding room. Number 8, Australia. Australia's Foreign Affairs Department recently updated its U.S. travel advisory, telling Aussies to brace for strict border screenings. Even with a valid ESTA or visa, you could still be turned around. Reports have surfaced of Australians detained in the U.S., some for past minor violations or unclear travel plans. With roughly 1.5 million Australians heading to the States each year, this matters. The advisory isn't a ban, but it's a serious heads-up. Things have changed, and smooth entry is no longer a sure thing. Trump's immigration crackdown is hitting hard, and some Aussies are starting to rethink their U.S. travel plans. It's not about safety. It's about the hassle. Trade tensions and a colder welcome vibe are turning people off. Australia isn't saying don't go, but it is pushing preparation over panic. The advice? Know the rules, double-check your docs, and expect more scrutiny. It's not about avoiding the U.S., just surviving a tougher system. The destination is still tempting, but the entry process comes with fine print now. At number 9, Ireland. Ireland's Department of Foreign Affairs has updated its U.S. travel guidance, cautioning citizens about stricter entry protocols. They're warning that valid visas or ESTAs aren't guarantees. If you've overstayed before or seem unclear about your visit, you could be denied. This follows a wave of reports of Irish nationals being held at the border, making headlines back home. About 700,000 Irish travelers visit the U.S. annually, many to see family, and so this stings. The advisory isn't saying don't go, but it's a firm be prepared. Under Trump, U.S. enforcement is serious. Some blame the EU trade fallout, others just want a smooth J1 summer. There aren't major safety concerns, just bureaucratic headaches. Ireland's message is practical. Know the rules or risk a last-minute U-turn. The U.S. still holds appeal, but it's less charming when you're explaining yourself at JFK. Caution is the key word here. And finally, number 10, the Netherlands. The Dutch government recently revised its U.S. travel advisory, telling citizens that entry has gotten trickier. Even with an ESTA or visa, border agents can still say no. Past overstays, unclear itineraries, or mismatched documents could land you in detention. This follows several Dutch travelers being denied entry, sparking concern. With about 800,000 Dutch tourists visiting the U.S. each year, this could make a dent. It's not a travel ban, more of a red flag. Trump's tough stance on EU trade is straining things, and the Dutch are noticing. There's also concern for progressive travelers, like trans folks, who may face problems under the U.S.'s two-gender rule. It's not about danger, it's about unpredictability. The Netherlands' message is simple. Still go, but be sharp. Double-check everything, be ready for questions. The U.S. is still on the itinerary, but it's no longer the carefree getaway it once was for Dutch tourists. And that wraps it up. 10 countries raising red flags over U.S. travel as of March 2025. From visa headaches to policy clashes, things are shifting fast. What do you think? Fair warnings or just overhype? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you like this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share it with your travel buddies. Stay informed, stay curious, and wherever you're headed, safe travels.